Okay, hey everybody, my longer review for those people who want a little more detail, who's maybe saw it and want to kind of have a conversation with me about it. I'd love to talk to you about this movie. Uh, I often go to the movies by myself, so talking to people would be great if you want to discuss this because this movie had so many themes, so many things to think about, and I love a movie that is number one, entertaining, which this movie absolutely is, but number two, really just makes you think about the social condition and the human condition we all live in, which this movie does. Um, wow. And the way it portrays itself, and just, I told you at the beginning of this year, there's just something about the movies where I feel like I'm back in the 90s again, right? And back in the independent spirit of films. We're getting these really original stories, and this is a really original story. And I wish more people were going to the theaters to see these stories, because we really just need that community experience and this story about the human condition, right? We all strive, we all work, and we're all, especially right now in the economy the way it is, and people are working to work. And we talk about this in my economics class a lot, right? The different styles of budgeting. Some people advocate making a really strict budget where you zero out your money every month, and other people say you should at least live a little with your money. And that argument, why I say that, is really at the heart of so much of this film. Is what are our expectations in this economy, in this world? What's expected of us? Should we live for ourselves? Should we live for others? Should we split our time living for ourselves and others? Should we find, mutual goals, intersectionality goals of how we both could benefit each other? Or should we just take what we can, get ours, and run? And this movie will really make you think about that, is where do I stand in terms of what's happening in the world? And again, I mentioned in the 1 minute video, the haves and the have nots. What do I do? How am I helping? How am I hurting? What consequence are there my actions? I think about, something like the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, right? So, it's a deep philosophy, righteous living, getting righteous money, right? So no blood money, basically. How is your money being made? How is your money being spent? And I think that this movie asks a lot of questions about that. It definitely looks at the state of capitalism today. If you, again, go back, and we talk about this in economics too, so much has been forgotten of Adam Smith when he wrote about Wealth of Nations and capitalism, that there was a moral component, that there was this component that was, he designed for wealthier people to take care of the social institutions, right? Create parks, create roads, create schools, because it benefits them. It benefits them to build their factories and live in their houses in a safe community of well-educated people. And so there was this moral component of philanthropy. And where is that today? Does philanthropy exist among the wealthy, which is a big theme of the movie too, or is it exploitation from the wealthy? And are they entitled to do that? Is it their choice because they got theirs? So many questions in this movie. They're so good. And the characters wrestle with that, and they wrestle with their relationships with each other. They wrestle on the notion of good versus evil, modern versus postmodern. Oh, wow. And it does this in just so many creative and entertaining ways, right? Is there some graphic sexual stuff? Yes, I should warn you in advance. There is, but it serves a larger purpose of who are we selling our soul to? And I do love the character of the pinky ring guy, just as kind of the statement about the things that distract us or try to distract us from the mission that we are. He's living in this world on his own mission, and whenever he gets thwarted in his mission, it's dejected. But he's trying to keep pushing through to get what he wants, right? Versus what everybody else wants. Just the notion of what are we entitled to in this world? Are we entitled to housing and health care? Um, or is that something selfish and that should come from so many different things to look at in this movie? There's a lot. Obviously, I kept thinking about Bug's Life, right, where the ants stand up to the grasshoppers. I kept thinking about Norma Ray, labor union movies. I will always relate back to one of my all-time favorite movies, and if you haven't seen it, please go see it, Joe versus the Volcano. It is one of my absolutely favorite movies for its statement about what we're willing to do just to drift through life with our head down and not make waves. And ultimately having to make a sacrifice in order for change to happen. You know, Joe vs. Volcano does it so well in the factory sequence where he's working at the medical factory. And this does very similar things in the Chinese factory, in the way that labor gets treated who sell the goods. And so in economics, we talk about the four factors of production, right? The factor market, the product market, the household, the business. And this one, it looks and pulls a microscope on each one of those places and how each one is being exploited throughout by people seeking wealth and preventing others from having wealth. And it asks you a lot of profound questions. And it's just beautiful. And the music, oh, the music is so good and so pumpy and lively. And again, the animation is so good. Like I said in my 1 minute, the credits are so beautiful. Oh, you get this just surrealist vibe. You just go along for the ride. And definitely everything, anywhere, all at once, and just surprises. Lots of surprises. And a lot of asking you to suspend disbelief because you have to understand the larger message. So, I mean, I can't, just the actors in this movie, I loved how many of them were just putting in these performances that of their career. And they've had such great careers. I'm a huge fan of Keke Palmer, Poppy Lou. I'm a huge fan. Don Cheadle, obviously, almost, like I said, almost unrecognizable in this role. Demi Moore, I'm all for this. I'm all for the social message she gave in The Substance, the social message she gives in this film. Ah, oh man, Will Poulter as kind of the drone boss at the store. Taylor Page, Isa Gonzalez. I can go into everybody, and just when you think that somebody's not going to be a main character, but you realize everybody's a main character, and that interconnection of all of us, right? I just have so much to say about it. I'd love to talk to you guys about this, so please go see this, and let's have a conversation about this, because I have to go see this a few more times. There's about 50 layers to this film, and this film kicking off, I just got out of school. As a teacher, this is kicking off my summer, and this is definitely my top films of the year, and just please go see this movie. Fill the theater. Tell your friends. I'm going to go see it a couple times just because I think you have to. It's almost too much to take in one sitting, right? There's, like I said, in my thing, it's like a jazz symphony. There's notes being played that I didn't catch. There's improv and riffs happening over here while I'm watching over here in the sleight of hand, right? Just great job, everybody. Boots Riley, if I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it to you. This is an incredible masterpiece. Thank you for making this movie.